Buenas noches. So it's April 4th, 2020, and we are sitting here with Mr. One Bubble. How are you doing this evening?
Feeling bubblicious. How about you?
I'm just great. In quarantine with the best partner ever.
Yeah, man.
So tell us, how are you feeling at this present moment in our world situation
At
called
this
life?
present situation, our world thing called life. Yeah, well,
So does that sum it up?
yeah, I mean, times come, times go. Everything's impermanent. Change is always happening. Sometimes it's in our favor, sometimes it isn't.
So you seem
least we
pretty
perceive it that way.
pretty comfortable. Like, I don't really sense any fear from you.
No, I mean a little bit of restlessness. I feel like people should be more active, but I don't know exactly what that looks like. So, doing the quarantine thing, try to be a good human, and you know what I'm saying, right?
So what are a couple things you've found to keep yourself busy so that you don't go insane?
Well, mainly my wife has been, she's been very obliging. Last night, as I drifted off into sleep, I was brought to an abrupt and joyful awakening when Thundra was being amazing, basically. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Good to
Yeah.
hear.
Yep.
So is there any advice you can give to others on how to keep busy in this boring quarantine time?
Damn, if I knew that shit, I wouldn't be doing this video right now. If I was busy, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to nobody that's listening. No! 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 Y'all can do whatever you choose to do. Don't be judging other people. Everybody's living in their own beautiful bubbles, man. Stop being your pricks. I see so many pricks. Look at them. They're doing it wrong. Look at them. They've made a bad decision. Look at them. They're threatening the future of our species. Look at them. They're afraid of a new invisible threat. Threat of terrorism. It's invisible. You can never really see it. You never really pin it down. A virus. You can never really see it. You never really pin it down. It's always good to be afraid of things that you can't really pin down, because then you can be afraid of them lots.
So, if you were the boss,
The
or
boss.
the president or the prime minister of this
God.
beautiful country, how would you address the situation, and what are some of the steps you would take?
I would get the hell out of politics and start making a difference. It's the first thing I'd do if I was one of them. Using our influence to help one another. Whoever comes across our path. That's the most important thing that we could be doing, because it's like, we're going to have fewer people come across our paths, evidently, but it means that we can spend the time, with the ones that do come across our path. And, becoming more present. I think if it just slows everybody down long enough to just be present to the fact that we are okay, we have always been okay, we will always be okay, then I think we
So,
win.
you think being more present will help the spread of this very contagious virus?
Yeah, of course. Because think of how unconsciously, like I just did that with my finger on my nose, but think about unconsciously we go about our daily day. And that is because we are not really being present. We're going through our day thinking about what's going to happen in the future, what happened before.
But you think those are the steps they're already taking in the social distancing, washing your hands, constant reminders? Isn't that
Yeah,
what
that
you're
all
saying?
all of that is raising the awareness to be present to this particular threat. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, absolutely.
So then you wouldn't do anything differently?
Yeah, I would do a hell of a lot of things differently. I would be speaking with people. I would be having conversations with people. Are you talking about like
If you were the boss?
the boss? Well, there ain't no fucking boss, man. I mean, you know, you have to listen. The only boss you have is your conscience. I mean, that's the boss that you got to wake up with and the one that you go to sleep with at night every night. So if you're not doing what's cool with that, then I would suggest that, yeah, there's an issue. But take
I'm
it all.
talking about managing society right now.
How to manage society right now? I've never really thought about how to manage society before. I guess do a lot of what they're doing, making it so that there's not a feeling of a sense of scarcity, that there's not a feeling of a sense of. They've definitely put immediacy on it, but they haven't been heavy-handed, which I think is really amazing. I'm talking about the Canadian government right now. They've said, yeah, we could take drastic actions, but we're not going to. And I see, by and large, people respecting it on the streets. So no, I think that the world of law and respect of order makes sense, but you're never going to stop people from coming together. So there has to be ways to be able to do this that satisfies the people's need to be with one another, and yet, the concern that people have with, catching this thing or whatever, right? And I see a couple ways of doing it. I think that you can have gatherings where people are in bubble suits. I mean, or some version of that. You know what I thought? Like literally, if you just had a stick that was 5 feet long, and you had to make sure that you couldn't hit anybody else's stick.
Yeah.
It would totally work. It would totally work. And then you keep people at a distance, right? But you have some fun with it. And you always know if you can do this around you, you're good, or
But how
whatever.
do you stop people from hitting each other in the head?
Well, if they're hitting each other in the head, then they're too close because they shouldn't be able to hit each other's stick, let alone hit their
Right.
head.
Right.
Right? Or you could grade it out, like you could put like string. You could use strings and make like a grid, right, around the bubble bus or something, and then each one would have their 10 by 10 square or whatever. I don't know. There's all kinds of things you could do, but people are going to have to continue to come together, and they've got to do it in real life as well. It can't be over the video, unless the video gets extremely better, which could happen as a result of all the push. Now all the money will go into making virtual reality even more real. But I don't know. I think people are somber because we're losing some of our species. I mean, some people are dying, and it's not cool. And there's people that threat, and we all love people that are threatened by this. So I get it as being a real thing, but I think that the main thing we got to do is we just got to be real with ourselves, man. We got to feel good about ourselves. We got to, yeah, and if we can, help others feel good too. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. Just give a crap about the person next to you, which is what we should have been doing all along. But man, now we actually have an opportunity to do it because we're more localized. We're speaking with people face to face, and yeah, man, it's amazing the conversation you can have when you just talk to somebody who you might not know, but then 10 minutes later you find out is like kind of a really interesting person, and they've just been across the street maybe for years, but we've never stopped long enough to look at it.
Wow. So I understand tomorrow is your last day of quarantine. So what how are you going to how are you going to be different after that?
How am I going to be different? Well, I think the main thing is I have to respect where other people are coming from. So I'm going to go about my business as normally as I can. Oh, well, there's a caveat there. It's either going to be as normally as I can or as abnormally as I can, to just get people to break down and not be so nervous. It's like, look, if somebody has it and somebody else doesn't have it, you can't be afraid of one another because somebody has something that somebody may catch. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just can't do that shit. You can't isolate the people that have it and say, well, you guys all have to be there.
Unclean?
Yeah, unclean, right? You can't do that. It's like jails. Jails don't work, man. You have to find ways for them. Like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of hoping and thinking, and I think it's a real possibility. We get the testing kits that maybe we've already had it. It's run through our systems, and we just didn't know it. And I wonder how many people that's the case for. that they've already had it, and really the scare is all because people just don't know, as opposed to it actually being something that could be, that's as drastic as many are making it out to be. So yeah, man, I don't know. I think people just need to slow down a little bit, be a little bit more true to themselves, a little bit more true to the people around them, the ones that take the time to video each other and.
Okay, well, thank you, One Bubble. Thank you for joining us on our first episode of What Would You Do in COVID 2020?
Oh, then
Thank
can we
you,
change the
and
name of
have a
that?
good night.
Can we change the name of that? Change it to like Fuck It Bubble or something.
Okay,
Something that has a little bit more oomph.
okay.
How about
How about we come up and brainstorm with a name for our next episode?
okay.
Fuck it.